If you're new to Codex, this is the only beginner guide you need. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to take you from beginner to pro. Most beginners think Codex is just for coding. I thought the same thing, but after using Codex a lot, I realized it can help me build apps, create automations, research faster, write scripts, and not only that, it can create videos as well. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use Codex and all of its most important features, putting you ahead of 99% of people. But before we start, you need to understand what Codex is really made for. Keep one thing in mind. Codex is not just for developers anymore. Yes, in the beginning, it was mainly built for coders, but now, OpenAI is turning Codex into something much bigger, a full workspace where your tools, apps, files, browser, and tasks can all connect in one place. And that changes the whole idea, because Codex is becoming useful for anyone who wants to get work done. Right now, Codex is available in 4 ways: web, desktop app, VS Code extension, and CLI. But for this video, I'm going to use the desktop application. So let's start. So this is the main interface of Codex. When you download it and open it, this is the kind of screen you'll see. The main area in the center is where you actually chat with Codex. You can ask questions, give instructions, and get answers directly from here. The next important thing to understand is permissions. If you move a little bit down, you'll see 3 permission levels. The first one is default permission. In this mode, whenever Codex wants to run a command, it will ask you first. So nothing runs automatically without your approval. The second one is auto review. In this mode, Codex reviews the command by itself and decides whether it looks safe or not. If something is important or it still needs your approval, then Codex will ask you first. The third one is full access. This gives Codex access to your computer, so it can open files, run commands, and work more freely. This is useful when you're working on a real project. Next thing is tracking your usage. And this is important because Codex has limits on how much you can run the models. You'll see a short limit, which refreshes after a few hours, and you'll also see a weekly limit. So before doing heavy work in Codex, it's good to keep an eye on this. The third important part of the interface is the model section. Here, you'll see reasoning options, and you'll also see different models. Now, don't just pick any model randomly. Always choose the model based on your task. For small and fast tasks, you can use the mini model. For everyday coding work, like reviewing a bug or doing normal coding tasks, you can use the stronger middle model. And for complex coding, research, or real-world work, you can use the frontier model. The important thing is this: every model has a different cost and a different impact on your usage. So don't always use the biggest model for everything. A chat is where you talk to Codex. A project is where Codex can work with your files and folders. If you're just asking questions, chat is enough. But when you're building an application or working on a real project, the project option becomes more useful. Now, when you click this plus button, you can add a file or a photo and give it to Codex. This is useful when you want Codex to read something, understand an image, or work with a specific file. You also have the work in project option. With this, you can connect your chat to a project folder, or you can use an existing folder from your computer. So when you're building an app, you can give Codex the exact folder where all the files are stored. So that is the basic interface of Codex. The next part of the Codex interface is the toggle bottom panel. When you click this button in the top right corner, it opens extra tools at the bottom. Depending on where you are, you'll see options like side chat, browser, and terminal. This is one of my personal favorite features because you can work on different things at the same time inside Codex. With side chat, you can run a parallel chat while your main work is still going on. For example, if Codex is working on something here and I want to quickly ask another question, I can open side chat and ask it there. I can also change the model for that side chat if I want. So the main task continues, and at the same time, I can research something or ask a separate question. The next option is browser. With the browser, you do not need to open a separate browser window. You can paste a URL here and access the website directly inside Codex. For example, if I type YouTube, it can open YouTube from here. So while my coding work is going on, I can also watch a tutorial, check documentation, or search something without leaving Codex. This is one of the best things about the interface. The last option is terminal. The terminal lets you run commands directly from Codex, just like you would run them on your computer. So while the main work is happening, I can also open the terminal, run commands, check files, or test something. That is why this bottom panel is so useful. You can use side chat, browser, and terminal at the same time, and everything stays inside one Codex workspace. Plugins are basically third-party apps that you can connect with Codex. For example, you can connect Codex with Gmail, Slack, Notion, Google Sheets, Canva, and other tools. Here, I've already connected my Gmail, so if I want to check my emails, I don't need to open Gmail separately. I can directly ask Codex, and it will fetch my emails inside Codex. To connect any tool, click on the Plugins option. Here, you'll see a bunch of pre-built apps that you can connect. Select the app you want to use. In my case, I'll choose Canva. Click the plug icon, then click Install App. After that, it will take you to the sign-in page. Sign in with your account and give the required permissions. And that's it. The plugin is installed. Now, to use the plugin, just type @ in the chat and select your plugin name. After that, write your prompt. For example, you can say, @Gmail, show me my latest emails. Or you can say, @Canva, create a design for this idea. And there we are. Now, if I don't like the design, I can easily ask Codex to generate it again based on my needs. Okay, with the next feature, you can teach Codex to do a specific skill. So you'll find the skills option right next to plugins. A skill is basically a saved set of rules that Codex follows for a specific type of task. Think of it like an SOP for Codex. For example, I have a front-end design skill. Inside that skill, I can keep rules about when to use it, what kind of design style I want, what colors to use, what layout rules to follow, and what the final result should feel like. So whenever I want Codex to design the front end for a website, I can mention that skill. Then Codex follows those rules instead of starting from zero every time. This is useful when you want consistent results. Now, there are two simple ways to create a skill. The first way is using Skill Creator. You can type Skill Creator and explain the rules, workflow, and task you want the skill to handle. Codex will create the skill based on what you provide. The second way is based on your own workflow. For example, you ask Codex to create a website, then you make changes, like improving the design, changing colors, adding animations, and fixing small details. After the task is finished, you can ask Codex to create a skill from that chat. For example, I did the same thing in this session. I kept improving the output step by step. First, I defined the colors I wanted. Then I adjusted the font, layout, spacing, and overall style. Once I got a result I was happy with, I could turn that whole process into a skill. So next time, I don't need to explain the same design rules again. I can just use that skill, and Codex will follow the same style every time. Pro tip: update your skills every week to get better results. Next one is automation. In simple words, automation means Codex can run a task again and again without you manually starting it every time. For example, I have a daily brief automation. It can collect what my favorite creators uploaded, what's happening in AI, what's trending on YouTube, and this kind of update. You can build the same type of automation for almost anything that you want to track regularly without doing it manually. To access it, click Automation on the left side. Here, you'll see the automation page. In the top right corner, you'll see an option called Create via Chat. There are mainly two ways to create an automation. The first way is by explaining what you want in chat. The second way is manually setting it up yourself. For now, I'll use Create via Chat because it's much easier. When I click Create via Chat, it takes me to a chat screen. Here, I can remove the pre-made prompt and write exactly what I want. For example, I can ask Codex to fetch tweets from my favorite influencer on X every single day. After that, just hit enter. Codex will take a few minutes and build the automation for you. Once it's created, you can see it on the left side. It will show the schedule, the model it's using, and the other details. Now it's active, and from tomorrow, it will send me the tweets automatically. So this is how you can create an automation with one simple prompt. The next feature is Artifacts Preview and Annotation. To show you, I built this chess game inside Codex. Instead of opening it in a new browser, I can preview it right here. I can click around, test the game, check which functions are working, and see what needs to be fixed. Basically, Artifacts Preview lets you see and interact with whatever Codex creates directly inside Codex. You don't need to open a separate browser every time. The interesting part is Annotation. Let's say I want to change the color of this pawn. I can click the Annotation option in the top right corner. Then Codex gives me a selection tool. Now I can select the exact thing I want to change. In this case, I select the pawn. After that, Codex opens a small chat box where I can type my prompt. I can simply say, change the color of this pawn, and then send it. Now you can see, Codex makes the change directly based on what I selected. So instead of explaining the whole screen manually, I can point to the exact part and tell Codex what to fix. Now let's talk about image generation inside the Codex application. And this is one of the big advantages of Codex. If you look at tools like Claude Code, they don't give you image generation inside the same app. But in Codex, you can generate images directly. For example, if I want to create a product photo for my website, I can just write a prompt and send it. After a few moments, Codex gives me a photorealistic image. So the advantage is simple. You don't need to go anywhere else. You can generate images, create assets, and continue working inside one application. Sometimes, Codex can even generate the assets automatically based on what your project needs. Computer. In simple terms, this means Codex can control your desktop and browser to complete a task for you. For example, I can tell Computer to go to my calendar and create an event for tomorrow at 11 a.m. called Video Upload. After that, Codex takes over the task on my computer. It opens the calendar, creates the event, adds the name, sets the time, and completes the task. So instead of clicking everything manually, you just give the instruction. Codex does the steps for you. It works like an assistant controlling the computer while you stay in control of what task you want it to do. And there are endless use cases for this. You can use it for research, data collection, file work, calendar tasks, and repeated browser tasks. Projects is one of the most useful features in Codex. In simple terms, a project gives you a separate workspace for a specific task. For example, if I want to work on an application or a website, I can create a new project, give it a name, and save it. After that, all the chats related to that website or app stay inside the same project. This is useful because you can run multiple chats inside one project. One chat can be building the app, another chat can be researching something, and both chats still understand the same project context. You can also give the project access to a specific folder on your computer. So if your app files are inside one folder, Codex can read that folder and understand what you're working on. Basically, if you're working on a big project, don't keep everything in a normal chat. Create a project, connect the folder, and keep all related chats in one place. The bonus feature is you can use Codex on your phone without losing your chats or tasks. So even if you started something on your computer, you can continue it from your mobile. For example, let's say I created a project in Codex and started building a website. Now, even if I'm walking or away from my desk, I can still check the project, continue the chat, and see what Codex is doing from my phone. To use this, install the ChatGPT app on your Android or iOS device. Then, on your laptop, look at the bottom left side. You'll see a mobile icon. Click on it and Codex will show you a QR code. You'll get two options, iOS and Android. I'll choose Android. Then open your phone camera and scan the QR code. After scanning, it will show you a link. Just tap on that link and it will open the ChatGPT app. From there, sign in with your Codex account and give the required permissions. Once that is done, you're good to go. Now you can access your Codex work from your phone. You can see your chats, projects, and whatever Codex is currently building. I use this feature a lot. Just remember one thing, your computer needs to stay on while Codex is running because the actual work is still happening on your computer. Before wrapping up, there are a few things you should keep in mind. First, use models carefully. Your usage depends a lot on which model you choose. If you use a bigger model, your tokens can finish faster, so don't use the highest model for every small task. For quick answers or simple work, use the smaller model. Use the stronger model only when the task is complex. Next is plan mode. When you're building something complex, or you only have a rough idea, use plan mode, or type /plan. Codex will analyze your idea and create a proper plan before starting. This helps Codex understand what you actually want to build. At the bottom of plan mode, you'll see an option called Pursue Goal. Turn this on when you're working on a big task. With this option, Codex remembers your final goal until that goal is completed, so you don't need to explain the same goal again and again. Next is the agent file, called AGENTS.md. This is a file where you write the rules for your project. For example, if you're working on a big project, you can define what Codex should follow, when to use certain tools, how to handle specific tasks, or simply ask Codex to build an AGENTS.md file. It will follow all the rules you've explained. Next is context management. Don't use one chat forever for a long project. If the chat becomes too long, the context grows, and your tokens burn faster. After a point, Codex may also lose track of small details. So, for big work, keep your chats organized, and start a new chat when needed. Next is memory. Codex can remember useful details about how you work, what kind of style you like, and what you're building. But when you start a new task, still give clear context. The better context you give, the better Codex can help you. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, join the Discord server.